For see, the self is in all beings, and all beings are in the self. No, Swami Vivekananda's The Song of the Sannyasin. The Song of the Sannyasin, which he wrote, the final lines of that poem, the last line of the final stanza, the last line is, the I has all become, and the all is I and bliss. The I has all become, and the all is I and bliss. Know thou art that sannyasi bold, say Aum Tat Sat Aum. Exactly the same meaning. The I has all become, and the all is I. This is the final realization. What does this mean? We will try to understand it first, and then we will try to actually experience this. One way of understanding this is, how is it that the self is in all beings? A good way of understanding this is the Advaitic idea of existence, of Sat. I am Sat, I am Brahman. But this existence, you see, if we look around the world, the one common factor that we see in all entities of the world is existence. The final, the most general characteristic is existence. Man is, woman is, chair is, the ground is, building is, sky is, sun is, the moon is, everywhere. Even something like an abstract concept, like a number, is, in some sense. Even fictional entities, Harry Potter, is, in a fictional sense, in the fictional universe. There is a sense of isness associated with reality. Reality and isness are the same thing. And this isness is in everything that we experience. Just like all the waves and ripples in that beautiful lake, water is. In the morning, I was sitting there, just had gone out for a little while, and the water was calm. There was no breeze at that time. And the forest on the other side, the woods were reflected in the water. Now, when you look at the water itself, what do you see? You see trees of various shapes and hues. You see the bright blue sky, so clear. You see clouds floating by. You see birds flying through, all in the water. Now, the interesting thing is, in the water, there are no trees. The sky is not there in the water. The clouds are not there in the water. There's no birds in the water. In fact, what seems so clearly forest, clouds, sky, birds, water, 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 water. Shankaracharya in the Dakshinamurti Stotra, he sings, Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam. Like a city seen in a mirror. In a mirror, what do you see? You see buildings and roads and people and cars. And yet, what's there in the mirror actually, really? If you touch it, are you going to touch a building, a person, a road, or a car? You're just going to touch glass. And yet everything seems different from each other, and there's activity going on. There are people that think living and non-living things, distinct entities. It's just glass. Pashyannatmani mayaya yatha nidraya. It says, this entire universe is like a city seen in a mirror. Now immediately we will say, but wait a minute, Swami, before you go ahead. There in the lake, there is a forest outside the lake that's being reflected there. There is a sky above that's being reflected in the lake. There are clouds and birds there which are being reflected in the lake. So there is a real thing outside the lake which is being reflected. That's why Shankaracharya knows immediately. When we sing like that, we will say, just a minute, there's a city in the mirror, fine, but there's a real city outside which is being reflected in the mirror. It's an example. That's why he knows the way we think. So that's why he says, Nijantargatam. It's all inside. Imagine there's no city outside. It only appears in the mirror. They didn't have television and monitors and computer screens in those days. Otherwise, he would have used that example. There's nothing outside. It's reflected in the mirror. Imagine there's no forest outside, sky outside, birds, clouds outside. Just in the lake you see all that appearing. Now, that's difficult to imagine in the physical world, but in consciousness, it's entirely possible. Whatever appears in consciousness is in consciousness and is nothing other than consciousness. Ya sakshat kurute prabodha samaye swatmanamevadvayam tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. We chant that. At the time of waking up, you see, when you wake up from a dream, when you wake up from sleep from a dream, what do you realize? You realize, swatmanamevadvayam. It is my non-dual self which appeared as the contents of my dream. What appeared in my dream? People appeared in my dream. Places appeared in my dream. I was also there as a character in my own dream. And actions were going on in my dream. I also had feelings and emotions in my dream. Fear, anxiety, happiness, pleasure, all of those things were there. But when I woke up, what did I realize? All of those people, places, events, things, they are not different from each other. They don't even exist separately. All of them are non-different, no second reality, apart from I, the dreamer. It's my dreaming mind which appeared in all those multitudinal forms, all those multitudes there. There was no second reality in my dream apart from me. Apart from the self that is from me, there was no second reality, no second person, no second entity, no second object, living, non-living. Advayam, non-dual. The dreamer is non-dual. You, the dreamer, you are non-dual with respect to everything that you experience in your dream, because they are not second entities apart from you. Similarly, he is saying, consciousness, you consciousness, are non-dual with respect to everything that you see. Or rather the other way around, everything that you experience in consciousness is non-dual. That means it is not a second thing apart from you. The example which is clear in the dream, nobody doubts that. Nobody doubts that. Nobody thinks that I actually went to different places, I met different people, I ate different foods. No. All of it was not a second thing apart from me. I myself appeared as places, people, food, actions. But there was only one reality. Similarly, in this vast universe, there is only one reality. Existence, isness. And if you carefully note the sense of existence, start with things and people, is. Very soon you will see the isness is not out there. The isness is your isness. I am, and all this is. This isness, this existence, it itself appears as a multitude of beings. The self in all beings. It is existence which is yourself. Who says existence is myself? In Chandogya Upanishad, Shvetaketu's father, Tat Sat Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asid. Existence alone was all this before the variety appeared. And you can see his son must be a teenager who is sort of skeptical about all of this, what his old dad is telling him. So, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, that existence you are. Don't think you are this young boy. No, that existence you are, which appeared in this entire universe. So this question of existence, a little digression into philosophy, it's the most difficult question, and it has concerned Vedanta from time immemorial, from the time of the Rig Veda onwards, thousands of years ago. Greek philosophers thought about it in the West, but generally this question was put aside as too difficult. What is the question? What is existence? What is reality itself? I'm talking about existence apart from existing things. Microphone is an existing thing. A person is an existing thing. Blackboard is an existing thing. But apart from that existence itself, what is it? What is existence? Why is there anything at all? This question was set aside as too difficult, and thinkers, both East and West, became more interested in existing things. Let us forget what existence is. It's too difficult. What is reality? Let's forget that. It's too difficult. And there were some philosophers who were philosophers of language. They said that this whole thing, existence itself, there's nothing like that. It's just a trick played by language. There are only existing things. There's nothing like existence itself. Which is not really, which is just a way of avoiding the whole question, the whole deep question, and it comes to everybody. It could have been nothing is there, but why is anything there at all? That way of avoiding doesn't work. I was so happy to see Michio Kaku, who is a well-known popularizer of science. He's in CUNY in New York, City University of New York. In his latest book, the God Equation, it's a very his usual enthusiastic and very clear style. At the end of the book, he starts from Newton and goes to Einstein, then goes to Niels Bohr and the advent of quantum theory, then comes to his favorite, string theory, goes from there to the origin of the universe. He says, it maybe there's not just one universe, not like that. There might be a multiverse, many, many universes. And then goes to, beyond that, how from apparent nothingness, which he calls like a quantum foam, in which from apparent nothingness, matter, particles, electrons and anti-electrons, like particles and antiparticles, matter and antimatter are sort of bubbling up, cancelling each other out, going back into that quantum state, and then he says one universe is, sometimes it does not go back. It comes up as a little bubble from that and then expands into this particular universe. Fine. He says that is the cutting edge understanding of in cosmology. This is something beyond the Big Bang also. Why even Big Bang? Because of this. But then he says, but even that, and we have no way of proving it right now, it is predicted by equations, by mathematics. But even that, why does even that exist? Yes, this universe may be a part of a multiverse. But why does the multiverse exist? All of that may have originated from almost nothing in the state of that quantum foam. But that's also something. It's not literally nothing. So why does that exist? He says. And he says that's at this point, we do not know really. We cannot answer. Maybe it's beyond the capacity of physics. Anyway.